Donald Trump said the United States would not be a migration camp. Donald Trump said the U.S. would not be a migrant camp as his administration defended its controversial practice of separating migrant children from their parents at the border. The United States will not be a migrant camp and it will not be a refugee holding facility, Trump said during remarks at the White House on Monday. You look at what's happening in Europe, he continued. You look at what's happening in other places, we can't allow that to happen to the United States. Not on my watch. Trump ignored an intensifying chorus of condemnation of a zero-tolerance enforcement policy that has resulted in the separation of nearly 2,000 children from their parents in just 6 weeks. The separation tactic has drawn bipartisan backlash from prominent members of Congress, human rights advocates and religious leaders who have called the tactic cruel and inhumane. Trump again tried to shift responsibility for the policy, claiming inaccurately that his administration was simply enforcing the country's horrible laws. I say it's very strongly the Democrats' fault, he said. In a series of tweets earlier on Monday, Trump demanded Congress change the laws. There is no law requiring immigration officials to separate migrant families at the border, and past administrations have avoided the practice. The separations are the consequence of the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy that subjects all migrants who are caught trying to enter the U.S. illegally to criminal prosecution. Children cannot be held in federal jails while the await trial, and as a result they are removed from their parents. In a pair of speeches at a conference in New Orleans on Monday, Kirstjen Nielsen, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, stood by the enforcement policy. We will not apologize for the job we do, or for the job law enforcement does, for doing the job that the American people expect us to do, Nielsen said, addressing a friendly audience at the National Sheriff's Association conference. Illegal actions have and must have consequences, she added. No more free passes, no more get-out-of-jail-free cards. Sessions blamed past administrations for carving out exceptions for migrant families that cross the border illegally, paving the way for the current crisis. Word got out about this loophole with predictable results. The number of aliens illegally crossing with children between our ports of entry went from 14,000 to 75,000. That's a five-fold increase in just the last 4 years, the Attorney General claimed. He added the White House does not want to separate children from their parents and that the U.S. is dedicated to caring for those children. If we build the wall, if we pass legislation to end the lawlessness, we won't face these terrible choices, he said, urging Congress to act. We will have a system where those who need to apply for asylum can do so, and those who want to come to this country will apply to enter lawfully. At turns during the conference, chants of arrest Sessions and Jeff Sessions must go from a group of demonstrators outside were audible inside the event. Meanwhile, outside the convention center where Sessions was delivering his remarks, a protester was struck by a pickup truck. The victim refused medical treatment, according to the New Orleans Police Department, and was not seriously injured. Witnesses on the scene said the driver had been cursing at the protesters moments before the woman was struck. But an NOPD official said they were treating the incident as an accident and had made no arrest or filed any charges against the vehicle operator. 5 demonstrators were also detained by the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. The protesters blocked traffic for a brief period before returning to the road's median outside the convention hall. The 5 were issued summonses for disturbing the peace by protesting. On Monday, Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama joined Laura Bush in condemning the practice. A day before, in a rare foray into public policy, Melania Trump weighed in to say that she hates to see children separated from their families and hopes both sides of the aisle can finally come together. While the First Lady expressed displeasure with the practice, she avoided blaming her husband's administration, in effect echoing the president's claim that the actions are the result of a law passed by Democrats. In an op-ed, Bush spoke out forcefully against the Trump administration practice, comparing scenes of migrant children locked in cages away from their parents to the internment of Japanese Americans during the Second World. I appreciate the need to enforce and protect our international boundaries, but this zero-tolerance policy is cruel, it is immoral, and it breaks my heart, she wrote in an article in the Washington Post over the weekend. Obama retweeted the op-ed, adding, "Sometimes truth transcends party."